people in Europe would get a visa easily to anywhere in the world, but to us back home, North Africa, Africans in general, it's really hard to get a visa. Like the refusal rate is over 90%. That's a tourist visa, that's a study visa. I'm not in that category. As a refugee, there's no such thing as a refugee visa. It's just a myth, it doesn't exist. You have to be physically present in the UK to apply for asylum. It's simply non-existent to say that you can apply for asylum outside of the UK. If we look at people smugglers, like drug traffickers, so because drugs are illegal, so you cannot find them like in a pharmacy, so it's scarce. So that's what makes it profitable, that's what makes people pay more for it. But like if you make like marijuana, for example, legal, and it's available in pharmacies, it becomes all of a sudden it becomes cheap. So that's the thing with smugglers, because there's no legal route, it's more expensive and it's more asked for. But if there were like actual legal routes, you can apply, you can go, the smuggling business would end up in a fortnight, basically. I'm not gonna say in a day, but in 2 weeks, no more smuggling, if there is a legal route actually. A lot of people come here just because of family ties. At least those who I talked to, who I knew back in Calais, like maybe like 20, 30 people I heard from personally. They want to come to England because they have children here, they have wives, uncles, sisters, brothers. The thing is, a lot of people don't have a say if they can come or not to the UK. Their families back home, let's say in the Middle East, they pay the smuggler and the smuggler decides where you go in Europe. So the smuggler may decide you end up in Germany, the smuggler might decide you end up in the UK. So a lot of people don't have a say where to go, because it is, for them, for the smugglers, it is a profit, it is a business. And the more they take you further into Europe, the more that they're gonna take money from your family back home. So even if these males, they don't have families here, but at the same time, they don't have a say in coming here or no. I actually taught myself English. I'm so passionate about the language. I taught myself and then went to university, studied English. I'm well, and that's mainly my reason of coming here. Because if you cannot really speak the language where you live, you cannot really adapt, you cannot really integrate into society, you cannot find adequate work, you cannot make friendship. So yeah, that's my reason, at least, why I chose the UK. In England, they think the French police is tolerant, and it's absolutely not. I mean, that's as far as can it be from reality. I tried actually 10 times to get to the UK. I had 10 failed attempts at crossing the English Channel. I only got successful on my 11th attempt. So that says something about the French police. We were once tear gassed by the French police. I was able to speak a bit of French to tell them that we had women, we had children, but nonetheless they tear gassed us in the middle of the night just to make us go away. They do this mental torture on you, because every day at 9 o'clock, 8 in the morning, they come, they take your stuff, they take your tent. Sometimes they arrest one or two. They don't release them for like 3-4 days. So you're always on this never-ending cycle of having to make attempts, failed attempts at night, having to struggle with police during the day, and it's really ruthless. I thought I'm gonna stay in Calais for 3-4 days. I ended up there for 50 days, homeless, waiting for a spot on a boat, just because of the sheer police focus on the situation up there in northern France. Once you're at sea, they don't really interfere, because I believe rightfully so, because they fear the boat might turn, people might die. But as long as you're actually on land, on the beach, or even before that, it's really hard. They use drones, they have really advanced technology, they have a lot of personnel, and it's the reality. You cannot go from Calais beach, that's just a no. That's a big no, because a lot of drones, they can catch you in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, not even. So you have to go outside of Calais further and further, and the more far you go, there's less surveillance, naturally, because they cannot surveil all of the beaches there. So I had to travel about 90 kilometers, that's like 60 miles probably, yeah, to the south of Calais. I remember a joke one told me that we were going south, 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 we're gonna reach Spain. One of the migrants told me that. So yeah, and we ended up, because we went all the way far from Calais, we ended up making a crossing of 10 hours. 10-hour crossing across the channel, where it is naturally only 1 hour. If you cross from Calais, a straight line to Dover, it's about an hour 30. But because I went all the way south, it took me 10 hours. Actually, the driver has no experience at all driving a boat, and he misguided us and we were lost. We went left, we were supposed to go right, up to Dover. We went left, so that means into the Atlantic actually. And it took us about 3 or 4 hours to realize we were going on the wrong way. So probably the journey would have taken us 5 hours in a perfect estimation, but it took us 10 hours. And the last hour, the sea really rose about a meter and water started getting into the boat. And I thought we were gonna die. I was the one who made the emergency call to the UK Coast Guard, because for like probably all the first 9 hours we had no phone coverage. Until the last hour I had phone coverage. I texted the Coast Guard and they just told us help is gonna be there soon. But they didn't come to us, we had to go to them. We had just kept going to UK beach until we saw the Coast Guard actually. So we saw them, they didn't see us. We had to locate them. It's really terrible. We were 35 on a boat, really packed. Like once you get off the boat, you feel like paralyzed because you just can't move there. There's no way to move or for blood circulation. It's probably the most terrifying thing I ever did. Not probably the most terrifying thing I ever did in my life. I used to talk to a lot of people in Calais when we were like relaxed and around campfires, but once you get on the boat you're too terrified to go into chit chat. I only remember one migrant, we were holding our hands together probably like all 10 hours probably, and we were trembling. I could feel him, he could feel me. I think he's somewhere in Birmingham right now. I wish him well. He's from Syria too, my age. Situation with the migrant hotels, I mean, it's pretty miserable because there's nothing to do really. They don't teach you English, there's no kind of social activities, they just put you in a room, they give you 3 meals, you can't complain about that. But other than that, you are really not a part of society. You feel like you're put in the back closet basically. So for me, being a young man, it's not what I came here to be locked away. I wanted to integrate to society. I want to have a social life. That's why I left the hotel. I gave them an address from a friend of mine in case they wanted to contact me. But otherwise, I didn't want to stay in a hotel. I'm staying here with friends, and that's my situation for now. Well, I don't think it's legal based on like European conventions and international conventions. So it would probably be approved by Parliament, but when it comes to judges in Strasbourg or judges, the European Court of Human Rights, I don't think they're gonna approve of it. So I don't think. And I even saw like a couple of conservative members of Parliament who are against it. So I'm not sure. Even if it gets approved by Parliament, the logistics of it regarding the European context would probably not work. Probably. So I believe we can address the situation at the root, why people are leaving. So when it comes to climate change, for example, the big polluters are the Western world. So they can definitely help in that area. When it comes to wars, just stop supporting dictators, I guess. The West does support dictators, really, like as we speak. They love to pretend otherwise, but they do support them. And support human rights. Don't do double standards. In that way, I guess people can find safety back home.